The cafeteria buzzed with chatter, laughter, and the scraping of trays, but when she walked in, the room fell into that strange silence that only happens when someone new dares to enter a place where everyone already knows their place. Her name was Amara, a transfer student who had just joined the school that week. Dressed simply in a faded hoodie and jeans, she walked with quiet confidence, carrying her lunch tray as though the eyes of 100 curious strangers didn't bother her. But the truth was, Amara already knew how it felt to be the outsider. She had moved countless times before, each new school another chance to start fresh, yet always a battle to fit in. That day, she picked a corner table near the window, away from the crowd. She sat alone, quietly eating her sandwich, pretending not to notice the whispers or the stares. But in every school, there are those who prey on weakness, or what they think is weakness. And in this school, those predators had names. Ryan, Jake, and Cole. They were notorious, the kind of boys who thrived on fear, who laughed when others cried, and who believed the cafeteria was their kingdom. "Look who's sitting in our spot," Ryan sneered as the three of them sauntered over, trays in hand. The students nearby went quiet, eyes darting nervously between Amara and the boys. No one dared to intervene, they knew how things went. Amara looked up, meeting Ryan's glare with calm eyes. "There are plenty of seats," she replied softly, returning to her sandwich. But her calmness only fueled their cruelty. Jake slapped her tray off the table, spilling food onto the floor. Cole laughed loudly, leaning close to her face. "Didn't you hear him? New girl sits where we say." The cafeteria erupted in whispers. Everyone expected her to cry, to pick up her tray and run, or maybe freeze the way so many others had before. But Amara did none of that. Instead, she stood slowly, her eyes steady, her posture unshaken. Something in her silence unnerved the boys, but they pushed harder, mistaking her calm for fear. Ryan shoved her shoulder. "What, you gonna do something?" And that's when it happened. In one smooth, practiced motion, Amara grabbed his wrist, twisted it behind his back, and forced him against the table before anyone could blink. Gasps filled the room. Jake lunged at her, swinging wildly, but she ducked and swept his legs out from under him, sending him crashing to the floor with his tray clattering beside him. Cole, shocked but furious, charged, and Amara spun, using his momentum to flip him flat onto his back. It all happened in seconds, clean, precise, almost graceful. The cafeteria was silent again, but this time it was a silence filled with awe. Students stared with wide eyes, phones half raised in disbelief. Amara didn't look smug or angry, she simply adjusted her hoodie and calmly picked up her tray from the floor. The principal stormed in moments later, demanding answers. The boys, humiliated and bruised, tried. The cafeteria was alive with noise, forks clinking against trays, bursts of laughter, the shuffle of sneakers across the polished floor. But when she walked in, the sound seemed to dip into a heavy hush. Every head turned toward the girl no one knew, a stranger who carried herself with an unsettling calmness. Her name was Amara, and though she tried to shrink into the background, her very presence drew attention. She wasn't flashy, wasn't loud, and didn't wear the latest brands. In fact, her clothes were simple, almost plain, a hoodie a size too big, jeans slightly frayed at the ankles. But there was something in her eyes. Something steady, something unshakable. And people noticed. She carried her tray to a lonely table by the window, sitting alone. She ate slowly, as though she had all the time in the world, ignoring the stares and whispers. For most new students, the first week was the hardest. For Amara, it was simply routine. She'd been the new girl so many times that she had stopped counting. With her mother constantly moving for work, Amara had learned to live out of suitcases, never settling, never belonging. Each new school was a battlefield where she had to find her place, or defend it. And then came Ryan, Jake, and Cole. They weren't just bullies. They were the cafeteria kings, the self-appointed rulers of lunchtime. Everyone knew not to cross them. Everyone except Amara. Ryan spotted her first. "Hey, guys," he smirked, nudging his friends. "Looks like someone's in our spot." The three of them swaggered over, their presence casting a shadow over Amara's quiet corner. The chatter around them died down instantly. Everyone knew the routine, someone was about to be humiliated. Amara looked up, her face calm, her sandwich half-eaten. "There are plenty of seats," she said softly. Jake grinned, sensing an easy target. He smacked her tray to the floor, sending food spilling across the tiles. Gasps rippled through the cafeteria, but no one moved. That was how it always went: watch, whisper, but never interfere. Cole leaned closer, his voice mocking. Didn't you hear? This is our table. You don't belong here. Students waited for the usual response: tears, fear, maybe a quick escape. But Amara didn't flinch. She stood, her hoodie falling back slightly from her shoulders, revealing her strong stance. Ryan shoved her. What? You gonna do something about it? And then the silence broke, not with words, but with motion. In less than a heartbeat, Amara's hand gripped Ryan's wrist, twisting it behind his back and pinning him to the table. His face slammed against the surface with a thud, his tray rattling beside him. Gasps and shocked cries erupted. Jake, furious, swung at her, but Amara ducked effortlessly, sweeping his legs out from under him. He crashed to the floor, clutching his side. Cole lunged, but Amara sidestepped, grabbing his arm and flipping him flat onto the ground with a loud smack. It was over in seconds. The cafeteria froze.